Good morning, students. So welcome back. So we'll be starting with another topic, that is verification activities. So first of all, we'll see what are the SDLC phases, and in these SDLC phases, where does this verification and validation activities takes place, and then we are going to study this verification activities in detail. So verification and validation activity can be well understood with the help of this diagram. First of all, we have an end user here. End users first of all gather the requirements. So this particular column indicates your SDLC phases. Towards the left of this SDLC phases is the verification activities, and towards the right of these SDLC phases it represents the test plans that are prepared and the corresponding testing activity which is carried out. So the right hand side represents the validation and the left hand side represents the verification. So once you go for requirement gathering, you have to verify that we have gathered all the requirements. Once it is verified that all the requirements are properly gathered, we prepare acceptance test plan. Because requirements are gathered, that means all the inputs and outputs are being identified. So acceptance plan can be prepared here, which in turn is going to help us in acceptance testing. Then after requirement gathering, we prepare the SRS document where requirement specification and objectives are being prepared. So we verify whether we have specified all the requirements properly, all the objectives are being considered. Right, overall system objective. So the corresponding validation activity will be that you prepare a system test plan. Overall system, what is the expectation from your system? That test plan is prepared here, which is going to assist us in system testing. After the requirement, these two are requirement phases, we proceed with the designing. So designing is done in two steps. The first one is the functional design or a high level design. We verify it, right, and then we build the function and integration test plan corresponding to this, and then the corresponding testing is being carried out. Then in case of internal design or a low level design, we verify it, we prepare the unit test plan, and corresponding unit validation testing will be carried out here, and finally we code it, and code is also verified. So see, in the verification, after each phase we are going to verify, verification is carried out, while after each phase the validation is carried out. So first of all, you can understand with this bottom up, say you know that in the testing we perform unit testing, then we perform integration and function testing, then system testing, acceptance testing, and finally the installation testing. So this is how we proceed with. So this is the diagram which represents both verification and validation, which is carried out during software development. Now coming up to verification, what is the need for the following, right? Why verification is required? If verification is not performed at early stages, there are always a chances of mismatch between the required product and the delivered product, right? Say you have gathered the requirement and you started you can say the subsequent work like designing and coding. You haven't get it verified by the customer, and maybe the requirements you have gathered is not proper, not exact, or there might be certain errors, right, that was misunderstood. So ultimately the same error will be propagated to all the phases, and finally it will be a failure because you haven't understood the problem properly and you have done with the development which is actually not required, right? So if you get it verified by the customer at intermediate step, so if in case there is any problem, that can be resolved there, and accordingly we can update and proceed with the further work. So verification exposes more errors at the early stages. Early verification decreases the cost of fixing bugs also, and early verification enhances the quality. So ultimately you can say it is how important this verification is, right? So errors can be easily identified, cost will be less, as well as quality can be improved, even time required will be less. So now what are these verification activities? There are major 4 verification activity that was also represented in the diagram. First one is related to requirements and objective. See, it is here, verification are these basically 5 activities. 2 are related to requirement, then related to functional design, then internal design, and then coding. So these are the verification activity simply. So we'll just simply go through these, that verification of the requirement, that whatever requirements you have gathered, you have to verify all those requirements. What tester has to do is the tester reviews the acceptance criteria in terms of completeness, clarity and testability, and he prepares an acceptance test plan in case of verification. Now verifying the objective, the tester verifies all the objectives mentioned in the SRS document, right, and he prepares a system test plan. So just a brief of it. Now every requirement in SRS should be verified. What for this verification is carried out in requirement phase? What are we supposed to check? We need to check correctness, unambiguous, consistency, completeness, updation and traceability. So whatever is mentioned is correct as per the customer. Unambiguous means multiple interpretations are not possible. For example, in library software, if I write the term search, the search could mean like multiple meanings are there. I could search a member, I could search a book. So we have to avoid such ambiguous terms, right? Consistency, there must not be any contradictions present. Completeness means, say if you are supposed to implement 5 modules, those specific 5 modules must be implemented or mentioned in the SRS document. It must be updated. Traceable means requirement. Say requirement 1 corresponding to requirement 1, it is design 1. Design 1 ke corresponding is coding 1. So this could be like forward and backward traceable, all the requirements. So we have to check whether all these things are being implemented. Then verification of high level design. So we know that we have two types of designing, system design and a detailed design, right? So software design document SDD is prepared, and what tester is supposed to do is he has to verify this high level design and he has to prepare a functional test plan according to, like, since we are supposed to perform function testing at the end. So what are we supposed to check in high level design is the data design, architectural design and interface design. So in case of data design, what are we supposed to check is the size of data structure. Have we taken the proper size? If you have taken an array, is it according to the whatever size of the array is required, you have taken that much of size, not less, not more. Then is there a overflow of the data? If you send more of the data as per beyond the size, then overflow must be represented there. Then consistency of the data formats, that needs to be checked. Data usage is consistent with its declaration. Relationship among the data objects in data dictionary, and consistency of database and data warehouses. So in case of data design, you have to check all these. In case of architectural design, what are we supposed to check? We have to check every functional requirement in the SRS document. We have to check whether all exceptional handling conditions have been taken care of. We have to verify the process of transform mapping and transaction mapping. This is required actually when we convert a data flow diagram into corresponding module dependency graph. We apply these two methods, transaction mapping and transform mapping. Then we have to check functionality of each modules, because you have divided your system into subsystems, further into subsystems, so we have to check for each. Then you have to check the interdependence and the interfaces between the modules, whether they are being correct, right? Invocation like call by relationship and calling relationship is there, so you need to check that. And you have to check for module cohesion and coupling, because we know that for a good design we require high cohesion and low coupling, so that has to be verified. So this is what the case of architectural design. And thirdly, we have the user interface design. So you have to check the interfaces between the modules, interface between software and other non-human producers and consumers of the information. We have to check the interface between human and computer, that is the user interface normally. And we have to check for their consistency, and we have to check a response time, because in a real-time application you want the immediate responses. Then comes is the verification of a low-level design, where we have to verify the all the subsystems, whatever we have taken like functions and subfunctions, like everything needs to be tested, and we have to prepare a unit test plan. So if you refer the figure and you properly understand that figure, so this is what is only mentioned out here. Now what exactly is done in a low level design? It is prior to the coding phase. So what are we supposed to check is verify the SRS and verify the software design document of each module. And in low level design, the data structure, interfaces and algorithms are represented by design notations. So we need to check the consistency of all these design notations. Then comes is the verification of coding, where actually we perform the unit testing or unit verification. So code must be verified for every design specification. In high level design and low level design are coded, right, and using traceability metrics. Examine the code against a language specification checklist, that you have use all the syntax and semantics of that particular language. Now some common points that needs to be verified is misunderstood or incorrect arithmetic precedence, mixed mode operations, incorrect initializations, precision inaccuracy, incorrect symbolic representation of an expression, different data types, improper or non-existent loop termination, failure to this. So these are simple syntax and semantic errors that you actually check just by writing the code, and you verify the code whether such common mistakes are being created or not. Now there are two types of testing techniques I have told you, dynamic and static. So in case of static, you never execute the code, while in dynamic you go for execution. You provide the input and you check the corresponding output. Then unit verification is performed for interfaces. You have to check for the local data structures, you check the boundary conditions, independent path, error handling and so many things, right? Generally in unit testing, what are we supposed to check? We are checking the structural errors using white box approach. So this is all about your verification, and we'll be doing with the validation in the next lecture. Thank you for today.